She was on her knees, scrubbing bathroom floors when it happened. A young black woman working double shifts at one of the most luxurious hotels in Manhattan. Invisible to most guests. Just another uniform pushing a cleaning cart through marble hallways. But that Tuesday morning, something broke inside her. A guest found her collapsed against a wall, tears streaming down her face, hands trembling, unable to speak. What had happened behind those closed doors was something no worker should ever experience. And then he appeared, a billionaire, one of the wealthiest men in the country, a guest staying in the penthouse suite. He stopped, he looked at her, and what he did next would shake the entire hotel industry. This is not just her story. This is a story about power, about silence, about what happens when someone finally decides that enough is enough. But here's the question nobody expected to ask. Was this billionaire her savior, or was he part of the problem all along? Her name was Amara Jenkins, 23 years old, born and raised in the Bronx, the youngest of 4 children in a family that knew struggle like an old friend. Her mother worked 2 jobs, cleaning office buildings at night. Her father left when she was 7. By 12, Amara was already helping her older sister raise the younger kids while their mother worked. She never complained. Education was her way out. She graduated high school with honors. Dreams of becoming a nurse filled her notebooks. She wanted to help people, to heal them, to matter. But college costs money, and money was something the Jenkins family never had enough of. So Amara took a job at the Grand View Hotel. 5 stars, crystal chandeliers, guests who spent more on breakfast than her family earned in a week. It was a different world, a world where people like her were meant to be invisible. She cleaned rooms for $18 an hour, scrubbing toilets used by executives, changing sheets for celebrities, picking up trash left by people who never looked her in the eye. Most days she worked 10-hour shifts, sometimes 12. Her feet ached constantly. Her hands were raw from chemicals, but she saved every penny. Nursing school was getting closer. Just 2 more years of this, 2 more years of being invisible. She kept a photo of her mother taped inside her locker, a reminder of why she endured. The Grandview had rules, strict ones. Staff entered through the back. Staff never used guest elevators. Staff never spoke unless spoken to. Amara followed every rule perfectly. She was quiet, professional, hard-working. Supervisors called her reliable. Guests never called her anything. They simply looked through her like she was part of the furniture. And she accepted it. Until that Tuesday morning on the 14th floor. Room 1407 was assigned to her, a standard checkout cleaning, nothing unusual. But when she knocked on that door, she had no idea what was waiting on the other side. And she certainly had no idea that a billionaire 3 floors above would soon change everything. Amara knocked twice on the door of room 1407. No answer. She checked her clipboard. Checkout was confirmed for 10 a.m. The room should be empty. Standard procedure. She swiped her keycard and pushed the door open. The smell hit her first. Stale alcohol, cigarette smoke despite the no-smoking policy. She stepped inside carefully, pulling her cart behind her. The room was destroyed. Bottles everywhere, stains on the carpet, furniture overturned, sheets pulled off the bed and thrown across the floor. It would take her twice as long to clean this mess. She sighed and got to work. But she was not alone. 20 minutes into her cleaning, the bathroom door swung open. A man stepped out, tall, red-faced, still wearing last night's wrinkled suit. He was a guest, and he was supposed to be gone. Amara froze. She apologized immediately, explained that the system showed checkout was complete, said she would come back later. But the man did not let her leave. He blocked the doorway, His eyes scanned her up and down, slowly, deliberately, the kind of look that made her skin crawl. Then he started talking. He called her names, words that burned, words that made her feel smaller than she had ever felt. He questioned why she was in his room, accused her of trying to steal from him. Amara stood frozen. Her training told her to stay calm, stay professional, do not react. She reached for her radio to call her supervisor, but before she could speak, the man grabbed it from her hand, threw it across the room. Her heart pounded. He moved closer, his breath hot and sour. He told her that nobody would believe her, that she was nothing, just another maid, just another black girl who would be gone tomorrow. And then he called security himself. When the hotel security team arrived, they did not ask Amara what happened. They did not check the room. They did not look at the cameras. They looked at her. One guard grabbed her arm hard. She tried to explain, tried to tell them the truth, but her voice was shaking, tears welled in her eyes. The guest spoke calmly, confidently. He told them she had barged into his room, that she had become aggressive, that he feared for his safety. Security believed every word. They escorted Amara out through the service hallway. Employees watched as she was marched past them. Some looked away, others whispered. Nobody helped. She was taken to the manager's office, a small room with no windows. They told her to wait. They told her this was serious. They told her she might be facing criminal charges. Criminal charges for cleaning a room. Amara broke down. All those years of hard work, all those dreams of nursing school, all those sacrifices, gone in an instant because a wealthy white man decided to make her a target. She begged them to check the hallway cameras. She begged them to call other staff who saw her enter with her cart. She begged them to listen. But her begging was met with silence. They suspended her on the spot, told her to hand over her badge, told her not to contact any guests or employees, told her to leave the building immediately. And that is when it happened. That is when Amara collapsed in the hallway. That is when her tears finally spilled over. That is when she sat on that cold marble floor, invisible once again, while guests stepped around her like she wasn't even there. But someone did see her. 3 floors above, stepping out of the penthouse elevator, a billionaire named Marcus Dean stopped in his tracks. He watched her from the end of the hallway, and what he did next would change everything. Marcus Dean was not a man who stopped for strangers. He built his fortune by staying focused, by ignoring distractions, by moving through the world with purpose and precision. Billionaires do not have time for other people's problems. But something about this moment made him pause. Maybe it was the way she sat there, crumpled against the wall like the world had beaten her down and walked away. Maybe it was the silence of the hallway, the way other guests glanced at her and kept moving, like she was invisible, like she did not matter. Or maybe it was something deeper, something Marcus had spent 40 years trying to forget. He walked toward her. Amara did not look up at first. She expected another guest telling her to move, another person treating her like an inconvenience. But Marcus did not tell her to move. He lowered himself onto the cold marble floor, right beside her. A man in a $12,000 suit, sitting next to a hotel cleaner with tears streaming down her face. The security guard at the end of the hallway looked confused. Should he intervene? Should he say something? He did nothing. Marcus sat there in silence. He did not ask what happened. He did not offer empty words. He simply stayed. And then he pulled out his phone. Within minutes, everything changed. Marcus Dean was not just any billionaire. He was the billionaire, the one whose investment firm had major stakes in the Grandview hotel chain, the one whose name appeared on the board of directors, the one who could make a single phone call and end careers. And that is exactly what he did. He demanded the security footage from the 14th floor. He demanded the full report on Amara's suspension. He demanded the name of every employee involved in her removal. The hotel manager appeared within 4 minutes, sweating, stammering, apologizing before he even understood what he was apologizing for. But Marcus was not interested in apologies. He wanted the truth. And when the security footage played, the truth was undeniable. Amara had done nothing wrong. The footage showed her knocking, waiting, entering professionally, doing her job. It showed the guest confronting her, blocking the door, grabbing her radio. It showed security dragging her away without a single question. It showed everything. The hotel manager turned pale, but Marcus was not finished. He looked at Amara, still sitting on that floor, still trembling, still convinced that her life was over. And he said 4 words that nobody expected. Those 4 words were simple. She deserves an apology. But they carried the weight of something much larger. Within 24 hours, the guest from room 1407 was permanently banned from every Grandview property worldwide. His name was shared with partner hotels across 3 continents. His reputation would never recover. The security guards who dragged Amara away were terminated. The manager who ignored her pleas was reassigned to a property no one had ever heard of. And Amara? She received a formal written apology from the hotel's corporate office. Her suspension was erased from her record. She was offered her job back with a significant raise. But she did not take it. Marcus Dean made her a different offer. A full scholarship, nursing school, every penny covered, books, housing, living expenses. Everything she had been saving for was now handed to her without conditions. Amara cried again that day, but these were different tears. She graduated 3 years later at the top of her class. Today she works in a pediatric unit in Brooklyn. She saves lives. She heals children. She matters. But this story is not just about one woman. It is about a system that almost swallowed her whole. A system where a wealthy man's word outweighed a working woman's truth. A system where security guards saw her skin color before they saw her humanity. A system where being black meant being guilty until a billionaire decided otherwise. Amara was lucky. She happened to collapse in the right hallway at the right moment in front of the right person. But what about the others? What about the countless workers who face the same injustice with no cameras rolling, no powerful allies watching, no second chances coming? They disappear. Their stories stay silent. Their pain stays invisible. That is the reality we live in. And it will not change until we stop looking away, until we stop stepping around the person crying on the floor and start asking why they are crying in the first place. So here is the question that should keep us all awake tonight. If Marcus Dean had not been there that day, what would have happened to Amara Jenkins? And how many Amaras are out there right now, waiting for someone to finally see them?